Now that we know the shape of a basic rational graph, we can use that information to graph translations and modifications of what we saw in the last video. So, you can see in this equation right here, I took a more general approach to writing a rational equation, and you can see there's an a up top, a number, a 2, a 3, a 4, or whatever in the top of your fraction. You can have a number being added or subtracted down here, and you can have a number being added or subtracted out here. And like we did with exponentials and logs, the left-right movement over here is going to affect where we put our vertical asymptote, and the up-down movement affects where the horizontal asymptote goes. So I think the best thing to do here is just jump into an example and get started on it. So remember, rational graphs, at least these basic ones that we're going to talk about here, have a horizontal and vertical asymptotes at 0. They both start right there at 0. The thing that's going to move my vertical asymptote is the right 3. So what I'm going to do is shift right 3 and draw in for myself a nice vertical dotted line here to remind me that's where the asymptote on my graph goes. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this plus 1 out here. This plus 1 isn't going to change, it won't change my vertical asymptote at all, but it will matter for my horizontal. So I'm going to have my horizontal asymptote right there. When you draw in your two dotted lines, the place where they intersect is like the new center of the problem. So like the origin, we were here, but we moved right 3, up 1. This is kind of where you start the problem from now. And my A out front here is a 2. So what that means is from my new center right there, I'm going to go up 2 over 1. And then what I'm going to do, I know it's going to be like a bow tie shaped graph with two parts to it here and then on the diagonal, the vertical angle side of it right here. I'm going to have another part. So I'm going to go up 2 over 1 and then I backtrack. I go down to left 1. Those are actually all the points I will require you guys to draw in. Once you get that, you can pretty much draw in your two pieces to the graph here, making sure we go through our points, and our graph right there is done. We can see it's got that basic bow tie shape. It's got our points, and that's a pretty good graph right there. Now the domain and range are a little bit weird in this one because it is going to keep going left and right. It's going to hit all of our numbers except for where this vertical asymptote is right here. So what we're going to say here, the domain, there are different ways of writing this. I like to write down all real numbers, but I'm going to put a comma. X can't equal 3, because that's where our asymptote is right here. 3 is no good because that'd be on our vertical asymptote, which can never happen. So we're going to say it can be everything, but it can't be 3. So it's basically saying everything but 3. There are other ways of writing that, but that's just the way I prefer you guys to do it for now. And we're going to do the similar sort of thing with the range. You sometimes can hit a horizontal asymptote, but not in the graphs we're going to discuss right here. Like this graph will never actually land on positive 1. So we're going to do a very similar thing, all real numbers, but y can't equal 1 for our range. So one more problem in this video here. If you look at this one, again, we're going to place our asymptotes first. The left 4 is going to affect my vertical asymptote, so I'm going to put a dotted line over here at -4. And I have a -2. That's going to move me down 2 as well. So these are my two dotted lines for where my asymptotes are going to go here. And that right there is going to be the center of my problem. So I need to make my points. And this time, A is a -1. So from my center, I'm going to go down 1 over 1. And I get a dot right there. And then I need to reverse that. I went down and right, so I'm going to go up 1, left 1 to get that point. And then it's just a matter of drawing in the graph. Make sure I follow along with the asymptotes here to get my graph. I'm out of space on that side. But you just kind of use the asymptotes to guide your graph, get that nice looking bow tie shape, and then that picture is done. So our domain in this one would be all real numbers, but x can't equal -4. And my range is going to be all real numbers except for -2.